jobs and those things. I did catch a couple typos, by the way, but things are there. So I think we did a good job. Well, the students did a good job.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
All
and I
right.
know this probably needs to start soon. So let me know when I need to stop talking and let you
Okay.
get
No
started.
problem. I'm going to say hello to a couple people. I see Aga is on here. Hello, Aga.
Hi,
Yes.
sorry. Hi, how
Yes,
are
I
you?
haven't forgotten your website.
I I figure, and I'm sending you new clients. Yes, on the top of that, not. I was like, maybe I should hold on to that, but she was mentioning stuff.
And so
I was like,
you can
I
have
was
this new
almost trying to
client.
hold on till I talk to you and get my quote before.
Right. Did you see I did reach out to her, and I think
I
I
saw.
copied you on that. And
Yeah,
I said to her, let's talk next week because this week I've got to get Aga's proposal done.
yeah. That was like second time she talked to a couple of weeks ago, and I told you that I have people that are asking, and then she called again and she's like, what's going on? I'm like, okay, I guess I can't hold on to that any longer.
No, we'll get rocking. And I've actually got the proposal in process, but I need a little more time to get it ready.
It seems like we should be, we should have, in theory, we should have all more time, yes, but I don't feel like I have more time.
No,
Quite
not at
frankly,
all.
day.
All my
So,
time's taken.
I'm staying busy, so no worries, but I'm laughing that it's like, I should have held on to that and don't give it to you till I get mine.
No, yours is earlier in the queue. There's two in front of you, but yours is up
Okay,
ahead of
got
hers
it.
in the queue.
So September is still in the picture, or is like September kind of slipping away?
Oh, no. I'm hoping we'll be well along the way, well before September
Okay.
gets there. Yeah.
Okay, good. That was my deadline,
We've
my
got
personal
people
deadline.
on here. Helen, how are you?
I'm doing good, thank you. How are you?
I'm just great, thanks.
Good.
And did you see Jenny's on here?
Oh, no, let me see.
Hi, Helen. How are you?
Hi, Jenny. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I invited my summer class to join today, so
Oh,
I'm
nice.
just hanging out here. Yeah.
Great. And Wanda's on. Hi, Wanda. How are you?
Hey, Brad, good to see you. I'm doing great. Thank you.
Great. Any good
Oh,
disasters
cool.
lately?
No, you made it.
Actually, not lately. Just the pandemic, right?
Yeah, right.
I think that's enough for now. Hopefully nothing else.
What about the seed?
The what?
The seed.
The seeds?
Yes. There's a new one going on with
Oh, yes.
our
Yes.
mailboxes. That's big
Yeah,
in
I heard
Carmel
about
Valley.
that.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
big in Carmel Valley. People are starting to see them in their mailboxes. So watch out for that.
No. Yeah, I did hear about that. Yeah. Just the more unusual just keeps on going. So.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and begin because 6 o'clock is upon us. And welcome everybody to the Monterey Digital Marketing Meetup, as we're coming to call it. We've been running for about 1.5 years now with these meetups, and we're having a good time with them. And I'm seeing lots of new people on here. So let me get things started here. In case anybody wasn't aware, we're online. That doesn't stop us from having a good, I'm trying to get it to show up here, a good glass of wine together, but you have to bring your own wine. If you have a question at any point, you can unmute yourself and ask the question, or you can put your question in chat. Kennedy's going to be keeping an eye on chat here, and when she does her piece, I'll be keeping an eye on chat for her. So if you put questions there, we will answer them because we want to have as much discussion as we can. Let's see. If you want to speak, remember to unmute yourself. But if you're not speaking, please keep yourself muted, because then it keeps out the background noise. We are recording this. Let me make sure. Yes, it is recording. If you don't want to be in the recording, you can turn off your camera. And mostly what the recording is going to show is the screen, because I'm going to be in screen share almost all the night. But just so everybody's aware that we are recording, and we do post the recording from this after the meetup. We post it on our website, and we'll publish a link to that. Our website is 21cm.global. And if you go to resources and then the digital marketing meetup, and there are recordings of many of our past meetups also. If you're willing to turn on your video, it always has us feel like we've got a real audience. So I'm not talking to names on cards, but of course that's your choice. I just encourage everybody to use your video. It's as close as we get to come to actually being together these days. So this digital marketing meetup, we run it once a month at this time, fourth Tuesday of the month. And the idea is to have us all explore and learn about digital marketing tools and strategies, and to network. The networking is a little trickier in the virtual environment, but still possible. We can still get voices in. And, whoops, get my cursor in the right place. So last month, our presenter was the students in the getvirtual.org organization. Get Virtual is a project that started in Santa Cruz by Toby Corey, started it, and a group of UCSC students picked it up. And now we are developing a CSUMB chapter, and that chapter is being led by Kenneth Olson, who's on here. Kenneth, say hello.
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
So Kenneth is leading it, and the idea behind Get Virtual is in this sort of sudden change in the environment. There are a lot of businesses who don't yet have websites. They don't have the ability to take payments online. They're not connected to delivery services. They're having a really tough time operating in this environment. So what Get Virtual does is it connects those businesses with teams of students who most typically build websites for them, also set up online payment systems. This has been a great project, both for the students who get to learn new skills, work with clients, get great stuff to put on their resume, and for the clients who are getting online. And this is primarily for businesses that don't really have the resources to go out and hire a full-blown marketing agency to build them a website. So Get Virtual is doing well. If you know a business that's struggling and needs the services, if you send them to getvirtual.org, they can register there, and that will get to the students. Students will reach out to them and get a project started for them. Anything else they should know, Kenneth?
No, I think you covered it. That was awesome.
Cool. All right. So we've got a good group of CSUMB students. We're now covering Santa Cruz County by the Santa Cruz group. CSUMB is covering Monterey and San Benito County. And Santa Clara University also has a chapter going, and they're obviously covering Santa Clara County. And there are discussions with other universities across the country. Toby's intention is to have this go national as quickly as he can get it there. So pretty cool. All right, so our main program tonight is going to be Kennedy Marshall, our social media and video specialist. And she has a tip of the month for us tonight: 3 ways to create better Instagram engagement for your business. And then I'm going to be doing a primer on Google Analytics. And with that, anybody have any questions? You know what would be really nice? We've got a nice sized group. I'm going to call on each person, and if you would do like just a 10-second intro, your name and something about you, what you do, what your business is, or what, you know, you're a student or whatever it may be, just so we know who's out there. And I'm just going to go across my screen, and the first person up will be Maria Sutherland. And don't forget to unmute yourself.
Hi, I'm Maria Sutherland. I've been creating websites since 1995, and I have
Wow.
a little boutique business in downtown Carmel, working for local, mostly artists and galleries. So
Oh,
that's
excellent.
my gig.
Great, welcome.
Thank you.
Going across my screen to Aga Simpson.
Hi, I'm a founder of West Coast Agave, wholesale distribution for artisanal food. Sorry, I just heard myself. Yes, wholesale distribution for artisanal products from our Central Coast.
Excellent, thanks. And Kennedy Marshall, say hello.
Hey. I'm not muted, am I? No.
Nope, you're not muted.
Hi guys, I'm Kennedy, and I am the marketing or social media and video specialist for Ascend Business Design and Development, and I will be presenting tonight's tip of the month.
Excellent. And over to Wanda Volmer.
Hi, everybody. My name is Wanda, and I'm the owner and founder of Peace of Mind Preparedness. And I help people get prepared for disasters. I help families, I help businesses, and I do contract work. And I just redid my website. So this will be an interesting topic for me tonight.
Excellent, excellent. And did you build Google Analytics into it?
We're trying, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe tonight will give you a little help on it.
Yes, I'm learning all about SEO and all that good stuff. So it's been a journey, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool. And Karina Alvarez.
Hey everyone, my name is Karina. I am the marketing and design specialist for the Otter Student Union at CSUMB.
Oh, cool. Excellent. Someday we'll get to see you again. We should be close neighbors, but it's different now.
Yes, definitely different.
All right, and over to Anjika, who seems to be fading in and out. There we go. We got her. Got to unmute. Unmute.
Hi, I'm Anjika, and I have worked with Brad in Ascend since the beginning, and I do web design and also marketing collateral design, logo design. Basically, my job is graphics.
Excellent. And Kenneth.
Awesome. Well, I'm a student intern at IIED as a social media intern, as well as what Brad mentioned, a Get Virtual program assistant. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Excellent. Thanks, Kenneth. And Helen Dunstan, a recent graduate.
Yes, that's what I was just going to say, Helen Dunstan, and I'm a recent graduate from CSUMB, and I'm just really glad to be here again.
Excellent. Thanks. And let's see, next would be Alexis Troop.
Hi, everybody. My name is Alexis. I'm a young professional, I guess, just trying to refine my skills and elevate my game, I guess, in the marketing industry. So I'm here to learn.
Excellent. And Yamesh Raja. You are unmuted. Yamesh, we're not hearing anything. Nope, Yamesh may be having a whole bit of technical challenges there. Jenny Lynn, my colleague, are you there?
Hi everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, yeah, I'm driving. So, well, I'm Jenny Lynn. I am an assistant professor in marketing at CSUMB. And that's it.
Yeah, great. And Jenny and I teach a digital marketing seminar together. And we're looking forward to another round of that this fall. And next, is it Jim or JLM? I can't quite tell which that is.
If it's Jim, that would be Jim Marshall, and I'm Kennedy's dad, and we're just joining in to support her.
Oh, excellent. Welcome, and it's nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's nice meeting you, Brad.
Cool. And next up is Lynette Lathrop.
Hi, everyone. I'm also driving. I'm the program coordinator for IIED, and I also work with Brad.
Cool. Drive carefully,
Thank
Jenny
you.
and Jessica.
Hi, my name is Jessica, and I'm a CSUMB student minoring in business.
Cool. Are you one of Jenny's students?
Yes.
Excellent. She'll be happy you're here. And John Thomas.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes, hi, how you doing? My name is John, and I'm basically just here to learn, to basically just get an understanding of what's happening in this whole digital space with Google Analytics and all that stuff. Also, I have my friend, she's here with me, and she can say something really quick.
Hey, I'm Jessica. We're tuning in from Orange County, also involved with consumer behavior and marketing, which is why I'm interested in hearing what you guys are talking about.
Excellent. Glad to have you come in all the way from Orange County. This is one of the great advantages of being in the virtual environment is people can be coming from anywhere, which is great. Let's see, I think next up is Saul. Saul, are you there? Saul may have stepped away. Let's move to Helen DeYoung.
Hi, I'm Helen with JRG Attorneys at Law, and I'm the Director of External Affairs. So that includes everything marketing.
Oh, excellent. So do you know Jason Rederer?
I do know Jason very well.
I play tennis with him every Wednesday night.
Ooh, he loves his tennis.
He does. And he hates losing. He really hates losing.
I bet he does.
I bet he's wicked in the courtroom, given how much.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
All right. Excellent. Thanks, Helen. Alexis Gomez.
Yeah, I'm Alexis. I'm a student at San Jose, and I'm a guest of Jessica's.
Great. Excellent. And Helena Ronis.
Hi, I'm Helena Ronis. I'm from Santa Clara, California, and I started a startup called allfactors.com. We're doing analytics for marketing. And so I'm basically learning from other marketers what matters to them in their current analytics tools so I can learn for our own software.
Oh, excellent. So you're building analytics software?
Exactly, for marketing.
Very cool. I would love to have you reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you more about that.
I would love to. What's the best way, LinkedIn or email?
LinkedIn or email. And Kennedy, would you put my Ascend email in chat? And then she can pick that up. And
Perfect.
That would be
perfect.
great.
Thank you.
Cool. And Marcia Ramstrom.
Hello, I'm Marcia Ramstrom, founder and director of Lotus Educational Services, and we provide mental health services to schools along with community education in mental health and suicide prevention. So excited to learn anything I can from Kennedy and the group about marketing.
Hi, Marcia.
Hi.
Cool. So you two know each other?
Yes, I know Marcia, and I'm interested in learning more about your business. So I'm glad you made it tonight. I think Google Analytics will be great for you.
Great. We will talk.
Yes.
Very cool.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. It's good to know who's on here and get to meet everybody. So next up here, as has been on the charts for a while, is Kennedy to give us the tip of the month. You ready, Kennedy?
Yep.
It's all yours. Except I got to get my cursor. There we go.
Hi guys, my name's Kennedy and I'm excited to share this month's tip of the month with you. Today I will be covering 3 ways to create better Instagram engagement for business. Are you looking for ways to get more Instagram engagement or wondering how to build stronger consumer relationships with your followers? The first step you can take to build Instagram engagement is to follow through on follower engagement to stay in touch with your community. Brands and marketers don't always follow through on follower engagement with their content, even though it's the first rule of social media marketing. When you share a post on Instagram, you should be ready to answer questions and comments, highlight them in stories, and refer to them in other posts. You can use a customer's question and incorporate it into future captions and posts because you never know how many others may be wondering the same thing. Customers also enjoy real and raw content. People enjoy feeling heard and like they're talking to a real person, even if it's coming from a company account. This builds trust and a stronger relationship with the customer. Next slide. So the second step is very important to utilize your business Instagram account by creating a point of sale opportunities with shoppable tags. Now, businesses can tag their products on their Instagram posts just as you would tagging other people. Different than friend tags, product tags are enabled once a brand's business profile connects to its products to a catalog. Now, it's crucial to make sure that your account is a business account. Shoppable tags are the most direct form of link marketing on Instagram. Users respond to rich content and added value links, but sometimes you just want a simple call to action and a sale. After you've selected a photo and a caption, effects filters, tap tag products from the share screen. And this is just like tagging people in your photos, except you're tagging your own products. So you tap the products in the photo that you want to tag and enter the name of the products you want to tag and then select them and they will appear in the search box. Then press done and you're ready to roll. So the picture will show when you click on the product, or as if you were to comment on someone's Instagram picture and comment on the picture, you will see the shoppable tag, just as we have pictured here with the rosemary citrus probiotic deodorant. Next slide. And last but not least, use Instagram stories to guide a buyer's journey. So more than 400 million users now watch stories daily. As the name suggests, use Instagram stories to tell a story. This can help you share your brand's narrative and guide your buyers through a journey to sell your product. Just because the video format is short doesn't mean you can't build a narrative. Remember Vine? Now we have TikTok. The short form social media network is long gone, but it has taught us that you can tell a narrative in 6 seconds or less. Instagram stories are my favorite because they allow you to be creative, post content that only lasts 24 hours, and connect with your followers. So try thinking of the story of your buyer's journey. How can you guide your followers from seeing your content to interacting with it and making a purchase? Here we have some examples of stories in the next slide, Brad. And the first one linked to the actual Instagram post on their story for a Q&A. The second story with the blue color asks the audience directly what they would like to see in a giveaway. And this is a great form of direct communication. And the last is a simple update on the company to keep customers informed. If you'd like to learn more about how you can build your Instagram stories or your shoppable tags, I'd be happy to chat with you at a later time. And this completes the end of the presentation. Thank you so much for listening. I added my email too. Brad, if you go to the next slide. That way, if you have questions about building your Instagram or any of these topics that I talked about, because it did go pretty fast, I'd be happy to talk more later, and I can add my email to the chat bar and we can start talking all about Instagram if you have more questions too. Brad, I think you're muted.
There we go. Now I'm unmuted. Any questions anybody has that you would like to ask? Whoops. Why is my, there we go. Ask of Kennedy. My magic mouse is being very magic tonight. Every time I breathe in its direction, it decides it needs to move the slides.
It's because of the wine.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I need to drink more, right? That'll settle it down. Okay, thank you, Kennedy. That was great. And next, we go into Google Analytics. Want to talk a little bit about this, and I need to do a switch up here because my presentation is actually living in PowerPoint. So let me fire up my PowerPoint deck. At which point, oh, excellent. Okay, cool. So this presentation actually came out of, at least in part, that recently I've been surprised to run across a surprising number of sites that don't have Google Analytics installed in them at all. And having conversations with the site owners, and they're saying, well, you know, we're not getting any sales from our site. And I'm saying, well, how much traffic are you getting? And they have no idea. And that's a pretty basic thing to know. So Google Analytics is really important, but not necessarily immediately easy to use. And I'm going to try to give us a tour tonight that keeps it as clear and straightforward as I can possibly do. So I want to focus on what is the information that we can get from Google Analytics and how can we use that information to measure and improve our digital marketing, because that's what it's there for. And I will finish up with a short piece on how Google Analytics actually gets set up in a website. I think that will be helpful also for those of you who have not done that. So I usually start out these meetups talking a little bit about the contrast that led me to this meetup, actually, to creating this meetup. And that is the difference between marketing as we did it in the 20th century, and as many people still think about it today, in terms of mass media, where in the 20th century, the amazing thing was that all of a sudden we could talk to tens of millions of people at the same time through TV and radio and mass print. And that was truly amazing, that we could broadcast our messages, but they were only one-way messages. Our customers didn't get a chance to talk back, and we've just got that one message we're putting out for everybody. Contrast that with what we have today, where we're able to talk, in some cases, one-on-one with many, many, many of our customers at the same time. So we could have a one-on-one conversation before, but now we can have huge numbers of those at the same time. And rather than broadcasting our message, we can tailor our message to very narrowly targeted groups of customers, and we can have conversations with them. They can talk back to us and allow for that exchange of information and exchange of understanding, and we can tailor the messages that we're putting out there for them. This all leads to what I think are very, very different approaches to what we pay attention to and what we call buyer behavior, and how we set the goals and objectives for our marketing, how we design marketing campaigns, and particularly for this presentation, how we measure marketing effectiveness and how we think about doing market research. Very different from the survey days that I grew up with. So this environment, this digital environment, has been growing, continues to grow, and is expected to continue to grow into the foreseeable future. And of course, as we're all experiencing, the current environment is making this this changeover happen even faster than it was. So this is not going away. This is becoming more and more the mainstream. So why do we need Google Analytics? I consider Google Analytics to be a basic, indispensable part of a website. If you build a website, you need to have Google Analytics in it. It allows us to track our customers' activity from their initial post that they see on social media, maybe all the way through to our website, into our website, and all the way to purchase. So we can track that activity from post to purchase. And if we don't have Google Analytics installed, we may have the world's prettiest website, but we have no idea whether it's an effective website or not. And effective is what we're after here, right? So if you don't have Google Analytics on your website, you're truly flying blind. So I want to look at this in terms of 3 broad questions that Google Analytics can answer for us. There are many more questions it can answer. There's whole layers of more advanced that I'm not going to go into tonight. I'm going to do the primer, but this is very powerful information. This is basic information that you ought to understand about your site that can give you real insights into what's happening with your customers and with your website. The 3 questions: first, is my website getting traffic? Is there anybody out there? And without Google Analytics, you don't know the answer to that question. Second, how is that traffic getting to my website? Assuming I have traffic, where are they coming from? And if I know where they're coming from, that gives me insight into where should I be going to find even more customers. And third, once they come to my website, what are they doing once they get there? We want to know the behavior of our customers on our website. So these 3 key questions and some related kind of cousins, if you will, to them are really fundamental to our being able to design effective digital presences. Okay, so let's start by looking at the Google Analytics interface. And I warn you, Google designed this to present information, not necessarily to make it consumable. So when you go into your Google Analytics account, if it is already set up, this is more or less what you're going to see. And I want to focus in on some key areas here. First one being, the first one being over on the left side. These are drop downs that have all of the reports, the report links in them that we can create. So we're going to be making good use of that menu. And I'm going to focus in on the 3 middle ones: audience, acquisition, and behavior. Who's there? Where are they coming from? And what are they doing when they get to our site? Now, another thing we should pay attention to here is what website we're looking at. And that's up here where the red circle is. And this tells us that right now we're looking at the 21st Century Marketing website, 21cm.global, on what's called the main view. And the third thing we want to recognize is that the reports are always going to show up in this big area in the middle. So we control this on the left, and we get our results in the middle. Now, in that red circle, if I click in the area of that red circle, I'm going to get a drop down that looks like this, because I have quite a few different sites, not even all of them are showing in this account, because I manage quite a few different sites. And each of those different accounts in the left-hand column, Carmel Naturals, the demo account, which is actually a Google demo account, Granite Crete, Helping Pets Heal, these are all different accounts. And inside of them is a website. So right now I'm pointing this to the SICC, which is the Startup Investment and Community Capital Expo. And that website, it's actually siccmonterey.com. And then we're looking at, there are 3 different views of that website. And these views have been set up in a different process than I'll go over tonight. But we are going to be mostly looking at the SICC website main view as we go through here. Okay, moving on. Whoop, that's what we were looking at. First question, are we getting any traffic or is it lonely in here? If you are running a store, you just look out and you can see whether anybody's coming in the store, but it's not so easy with a website to see whether anybody's in there. Google Analytics is your window to that world. So we're here at the SICC, Startup Investment and Community Capital website main view. And we want to focus in on, oh, I keep going the wrong direction. There we go. We have our 5 different groups of reports on the left, and I want to start by focusing on the audience. So I'm going to click on audience, and that's going to bring us here to notice that when we click on audience, we get a whole list of different reports we can get underneath audience. We're going to look at a couple of those. First one being the overview. And the overview and understanding what we're looking at, it helps in the upper right-hand corner there where there's the light yellow circle. It's showing the dates that this report covers. So this report is from July 20th through July 26th. So it shows those 7 days. And the graph here shows how many users there were on our site each day from the 20th, the 21st, the 22nd, 23rd, and so on. And so we had about 8 users on the 20th, and then that went up to, looks like about 18 on the 21st, dropped back to maybe 17 on the 22nd, 19 on the 23rd, and so on. So that tells us how much traffic our site is getting. And then down here on the bottom, it gives us some additional information. So this is how many visitors we had on the site each day. And the total number of users over that time period was 78. That's how many people were there. There were 67 new users. So Google can track whether somebody has been on your website before, and they'll give you that information. They'll tell you how many of the visitors to your site were new, first-timers, and how many of them were returners. So there were 11 returning users. It also tells us how many sessions there were. So a session, and there's a very specific definition for a session. If somebody goes to your website and spends some time and messes around in your website, looks at some different pages, etc., and then leaves, that's a session. If later in the day they come back to your site again, that's another session. So whether they're on your site for 10 seconds or a minute or an hour, that's one session. And if they come back after a period of time, return again, that becomes a new session. So this tells us there were 101 sessions. And it also gives us an interesting number. This is an important number called the bounce rate. Okay, the bounce rate tells us whether somebody came to our site, looked at one page, and left. That's the Google definition of bouncing, is if they come to our site and the only thing they do is look at a single page, whichever page they might have gone to. If they then leave without clicking on anything else, they bounced. And we can see from this that 3/4 of the people who arrived on the site only looked at one page. Now, I have seen worse bounce rates. I've seen bounce rates in the 90%. I've seen better bounce rates. I've seen bounce rates in the 50%. If you can get under 50% for a bounce rate, you're doing really, really well. 76%, I'm not happy with that as a bounce rate. That's something that I would want to look at. What's going on that they're only going to that one page? Now, another useful piece of information here is the average session duration. This is how long they spend on the site. It's how long between their first click that gets them to the site and the last click that takes them away from the site. And the average session duration here is 1 minute and 35 seconds. And as we'll see a little bit later, there's a very wide spread of how much time people spend on this site. But that's a number. Obviously, if you want to be effective, you want people to engage with your site, you would like the session duration to be high. You'd like the bounce rate to be low. You'd like people to be returning to your site. Okay, so that's the basic audience overview report. We know how many people have been to our site. We know how many of them are new. We know how many sessions they created. We know how long they were there on average, and we know how many of them came, conquered, and left. That is, came, looked at one page, and left. Okay, so now I want to move on. I want to stay with audience, but I want to go down to geo, because geo, for geography, is going to tell us where these users are coming from. And I'm going to focus in here on location. And in particular, we're going to start by looking at country. So where did all of these 78 users come from? Well, 68 of them came from the United States. 2 from Canada, 2 from Japan, 1 from Bangladesh, 1 from Germany, the UK, Sri Lanka, Russia, and Taiwan. So quite a variety of different countries that users came from. Now, if I'm working with a site where we're really only interested in United States visitors, or we're only interested more commonly in North American visitors, you can set up a filter that will filter out the folks from Russia, because they're only there to change your vote, and for most sites, you're not really concerned about whether somebody's coming from Russia or not. So you might want to filter them out, because that skews some of the other data in your site. Now we can also look at the location in terms of the city. So I've changed here to looking at city, and we can see the city that people came from. And note that 14, the largest single group, city was not set. That is, that information was not available in their browser information. So we don't know what city they came from. But for many others, we do know. 7 came from Salinas. 7 came from Portland. By the way, these are 7 different users. 5 of those were new users. Initially, when I saw this, I was thinking that that was my web designer, because Anjika actually lives in Portland. And I thought, oh, she's skewing our data. But then I realized, no, this is 7 different users. So there are actually a fair number of people. So it must be Anjika and her friends who are coming and looking at the website. Is that the case, Anjika? Or do we have a following?
Could be. I don't really know.
If we do some drilling down, we could probably figure that out, but that'll be deeper than we'll drill tonight. 6 from Santa Cruz, that's good. 5 from Marina. Most of them are local here. 5 from San Francisco. Given that this is a startup investment expo, 5 from San Francisco is a very good thing. 2 from Toronto, 2 from Bunkyo City. I have no idea where that is. Anybody know where Bunkyo City is? It might be offshore. All right, so that's where our site visitors are coming from. Now, another thing we can do here, still looking at audience, but now looking at new versus returning users, we can see whether when people come back, do they behave differently than the first time they came. And if we look at this over here and we look at bounce rate, we can see that 85% of the new visitors bounced. They came, they saw one page, they said, "Ah, I'm leaving, I'm out of here," and left. But the returning visitors, only 58% looked at just one page. So the returning visitors are, not surprisingly, looking at more pages. In fact, on average, they're looking at 3.5 pages versus 1.2 pages that the first-time visitors were looking at. And you can see a huge difference if we go over and look at the average session duration. How long were they staying on the site? You can see that the returning users were there for 4 minutes and 17 seconds on average versus 13 seconds for the new visitors. So there's quite a bit of difference in behavior there. When people come back to our site, they're more engaged, they're spending more time on the site, they're looking more deeply into the site. So we might want to be reaching out to those returning visitors and seeing what else they might need from us. All right, now I'm going to move to behavior under, now this is still under audience. Audience behavior, I want to look at, we just looked at new versus returning users. Now I want to look at frequency and reach, because we can get a couple of other interesting answers here. One is, how many times is each visitor coming back to the site? So this column tells us that there were 67 sessions that only, 67 visitors that only were on the site once. 15 visitors that were on the site twice, so they came back for 2 sessions. And down here, there were 4 visitors who actually came back 15 to 25 times. So we've got some heavy users on the site and some very light users on the site, which gives us some things to pay attention to. What's going on with these 10 people are probably highly engaged people that we want to be paying attention to. Now there's a second column there that tells us how many page views each session had. So 81 sessions had a single page view. 41, I'm sorry. Yes. And you can see that there's a wide variety here in the number of page views. There were a large number of sessions here that had 5 page views, which is a fair number, and a bunch that are going, going to a lot of different pages in the site. Okay. Last item on audience, I want to look at engagement. And so this tells us, session duration here tells us how long was each session on the site. So there were 82 sessions that had 0 to 10 seconds they were on the site. So they were not there for very long. 3 sessions that were there for 11 to 30 seconds. That's still not very long. But note that we've got 2 sessions that were there for 181 seconds, which is 3 minutes, to 600 seconds, which would be 10 minutes, and 8 sessions where they spent 10 to 30 minutes on the website. Right? Again, tells us that there are some people coming to the website who are spending an enormous amount of time there. Okay. So that's our audience and learning about our audience on the website. So now that we know a little bit about our audience, we'd like to know where they're coming from, because of course, all roads lead to Rome. So first question is, how are they getting to my site? And now note that we're looking at not audience anymore, but we're looking at the acquisition group of reports. And this is the overview, the acquisition overview. And it's looking at how are people getting to our sites? So we've got 68 people, users getting there directly. And direct means they're typing the URL for our site into their browser and going straight from their browser to our site. There are 50 of them that are getting there via email. And that's a good thing because that tells us that our email campaign is having some effect. It's driving people to our site. There are 24 people who got there through organic search. Anybody know what organic search is and what the other kind of search is? You want to hazard a thought about that? So Google will list two kinds of search, organic search and paid search. Organic search is they type some search term into their browser and our website came up and they clicked on our website and went to it. Paid search would be if we were doing Google Ads and they typed in a search term and our ad popped up and then they clicked on that ad. That would be paid search. So organic search is good because that is in some sense free. And it says that some level of SEO is working for the site because we got a fair number of people from that. Remember, actually I can't, this data I think is a month. I think I changed the view from 1 week to 1 month. Whoop, come back here. All right, and social, how many people are coming to our site from our social posts? Kenneth, we got to do something about this. We're not getting enough people from social, so we got to work on that conversion there. Okay, so that's where our traffic is coming from. I want to drill a little more deeply into referral, because referral has a particular meaning. That means that some other website had a link that sent them to our website. So we'd really like to know what website is doing that. And so I clicked on that, and this is the report that comes up. And it tells us where our traffic is getting referred from. Now, not surprisingly, the largest amount is getting referred from startupmontereybay.com. That's our website, and it has a big banner on it that says, go to the Startup Investment and Community Capital Expo, and it's got a link over to the SICC website. So that tells us that that link is working. And then there are 4 more, which are single people, and I actually have no clue what 3 of those 4 websites are. edit.csumb.edu. Sounds like someone was busy editing the csumb.edu site, saw a mention of the SICC website and decided to click on it. GeraldineBlog.top, having a clue. Secure.helpscout.net, having a clue. Interestingly, skipdns.link, it came from, we recently, just a little over a week ago, moved this website from one hosting provider to another. And that referral actually came out of that process. Okay, so we know a little bit about what other sites are referring our site. That's good information. You know who your partners are out there. So when people get to our site, then we'd like to know, what are they doing in there? And my little quip is with apologies to Tom Waits. I don't know if any of you are Tom Waits fans, but if you are, you'll know immediately what I mean by apologies to Tom Waits on what are they doing in there. All right. So now we're looking at behavior. We've done audience, we've looked at acquisition, and now we're looking at behavior. And this, again, we start with the overview. That's always a good place to start. And we can see the pattern of visits over the past month. You can see this is Past 30 days is actually the view we're looking at here. And over those 30 days, there were 484 page views. Now, that could have been one person looking at 484 different pages, or it could have been 484 different people looking at one page. We don't know from this, but we know that there were 484 page views. There were 331 unique page views. What does unique mean? That means if I go to the website and I go to the landing page, the home page, and then I click inside and look at a couple of pages inside, and then I come back to the home page. The second time that I get to the home page, that adds to the page view numbers, but it is not a unique page view because I've been there before in that session. Right? The average time people spent on a page was 2 minutes and 36 seconds. So for each of those page views, the average time was 2 minutes and 36 seconds. The bounce rate, we've seen that before, was 72%. And the percent exit was 52%. I'm going to explain exit on a different report here. Exit's important to understand, but it's a little bit confusing, and this is not the report to show that, I don't think. Down here is an important report. It tells us what pages they're going to. So it lists the number of times that each of these pages was viewed. So 40% of the page views are our homepage. Not surprising. 11% are viewing Parallel Flight. Parallel Flight is a page within this site that shows one of the companies that is going to be pitching to investors at the expo. That company is Parallel Flight Technologies, really cool company. They do heavy lift drones. They can lift relatively heavy loads with their drones, and one of their applications is providing supplies to firefighters who are behind the fire line. Really cool business they've got. So that seems to be a very popular page. Pitching companies is a popular page. That's important because that's the page where we encourage companies to come and pitch at the event. So we want lots of folks to go and look at that page, and we're getting pretty good traffic there. And then, you know, each of the other pages goes there in descending order of how many times those pages were viewed. Okay. Now here's my favorite view to look at on a website. I love this view. It looks a little confusing at the beginning, but what this does is it tells us, so we're in behavior, and it tells us the behavior flow. It tells us the route that people took when they came to our site. So most people start on our site at the landing page. The little slash there says this is the home page. I should say home page, not landing page. I'm mixing my terminology. When they get there, a chunk of them, 21 of those, went on to the pitching companies page, and 8 of them went on to the sponsor SICC 2020 page, and 5 of them went on to the attend page, and 4 went back to the home page. Oh, no, I'm sorry, that's coming from another. I was going to say, that's kind of weird. 3 of them went to Parallel Flight, 7 of them went to 6 other pages. And so these people that went to the pitching companies page, where did they go next? Well, 7 of them went on to whatever this page is, and I can't click on that page. Sorry, this is a blown up image of that, so you can see a little better. Because if this were live, when I mouse over this, it would give me more information about what pages these were. 3 of them went to the attend page, okay? And then of the 3 that went to the attend page, 2 of those went on to the sponsor page, and then this little red waterfall here says they left. So it looks very sad because we're sad because they left. So this tells you where people are going through your site, and it actually goes on. There are a couple of interactions beyond that. And where they go and where they go after they go there. And it gives you a sense of what that path looks like through your site. This I find incredibly useful because one of my objectives with a site is to keep people there and keep them looking at more and more stuff on the site. So this tells me whether I'm succeeding in that or not. Now, this report, behavior, we're looking at site content, and we're looking at a report called exit pages. And I want to come back to this because this tells us what pages are they leaving our website from. So somebody comes to a website, if they only look at one page and leave, what do we say they did? Everybody in chat, tell me what they did if they only look at one page and they leave. What does Google tell me they did?
Bounced.
They bounced, right? Exactly. So bouncing is different from exiting. If they bounced off a page, it doesn't count. But if they came to the home page and then they went to the pitching companies page and then they went to parallel flight page, and then when they got done with that page, then they left, parallel flight now gets counted for one exit. That was used by that visitor as the page that they exited from. So what this report tells us is what pages are people most often exiting from. Now, so the home page is the most common place that people leave from. Now, remember, these aren't bounces. These are people who have looked at more than one page, but then they left, and 61% left. Actually, 61% of the people who got to the homepage, back to the homepage, left from there. 120. 23 sessions ended on pitching companies. Now, when I saw that initially, I had this thought that, oh, that's not a good thing because I want pitching companies to be where people sign up. And then I realized that the way we've constructed this site is if they go to the pitching companies page and they decide they want to sign up to pitch, the next thing they do is they click on a button that's on that page that takes them over to Eventbrite, which is where they actually sign up to pitch. They don't sign up on the site, they sign up on Eventbrite. So then I felt better about pitching companies being an exit page because it was actually designed to be an exit page for some. But this is important because it tells you what page people are leaving from. So we've gotten a lot of information here about how many people are on the site, about where they're coming from, and about what they're doing when they get to the site. So this is really useful, basic information that you can look at on a regular basis. As you get used to this, you can bring up these reports quickly and interpret them quickly. You can set up dashboards to track them. I've set up dashboards in Excel. There's software that can help you set up dashboards. I would guess, I can't remember the name of the woman what was her name? I'm gonna find her name in here. Oh, it's not in, I was looking to see if it was in chat. But the woman who's got the marketing analytics company, I'm sure that they would help you build a dashboard that's got to be a part of what they're doing. So let's look at one more thing here, which is how do we set up Google Analytics? Because if you're just getting started, I'll tell you what, this looks like an incredible mystery. I'm going to take all the mystery out of it because it's actually a lot easier than it looks. So 5 steps. The first step, we've got to create a Google Analytics account. Then we've got to get what's called a tracking code, which is easy to do if you know how, and I'm going to show you the secret. We need to insert the tracking code in your website, most of the instructions, if you Google if you go to Google and say, you know, how do I put the tracking code in my website? They will come back and tell you the hard way to do it. I'm going to show you an easier way to do it. And then you have to wait a couple days. I scared myself recently. I set up a site and I wasn't getting any data for a little bit, and I was worried that I'd messed something up. But then on the third day, the data started to show up. So it does take Google Analytics a couple of days for the data to begin to show up, or germinate as I call it here. And then voila, the data is there. Okay, to create a Google Analytics account, this is free. Google loves you to do this work because it helps build their business, so they give all this stuff away free. So start with a Google email account. You have to be doing this from a Google email account. If you don't have one, they're easy to set up. And then you go to analytics.google.com and you're going to whoop, let's go forward, not back. When you go there, so notice in the upper left, the URL is analytics.google.com, and then they redirected me because this was, for this account, this is the first time I'd been there. And it tells me, welcome to Google Analytics, and it says, start measuring. That's a little optimistic because there's a few steps you got to do before you actually start measuring. So let's look at those. You click on start measuring and it says, okay, give me an account name. You can call it anything you want. If you want to call it Fred, you can call your account Fred. I usually try to use a descriptive term, but Fred works too. Then you go down to the bottom and click next. And it takes you to this page where you can say, I'm wanting to do analytics for my website, or I'm wanting to do analytics for my app, or I'm wanting to do both apps and web. I'm assuming most of you are working with websites, so you probably want to leave it at web. Click next. And now it's going to ask you to set up your property. Okay, so property, what Google calls a property, that's just your website. So they want the website name. You don't have to get technical with this. You can just call this on the SICC property, I think it just says SICC website is the website name. Here I made up a fake website called Monterey Digital Marketing Website. And then they want the URL. This is not fake. This has to be your real URL, although the one I put in here is fake, mdmwebsite.com. As far as I know, doesn't exist. It'll ask you to show an industry category. I just put other, and reporting time zone, it defaults to Los Angeles, close enough for our purposes. We click create, and we get to this page, which is really important. We now know we have created a property, and that property now has this magic number called a tracking ID. This is a very important number. You want to write that down or make sure that it's easily accessible, because if you're not used to this, you may have a little trouble getting back to it. Here's the secret. So I'm in a Google account just like I've been looking at all night, but instead of looking at these reports on the upper left, I'm down here in the settings. If you click on settings, or they call it admin in this account, then you're going to get to this view and you'll be able to get to your tracking ID if you don't have it. Now, you can do this the hard way. And if you're a coder, you might want to do it the hard way, in which case you copy and paste this code that's in the box and you insert that in the header of your website. And if you don't know what that means, don't worry about it. I actually don't either. If I had to insert this code into the header of my website, I would be in big trouble. That's what I have Anjika for. She knows how to do that, but I'm going to show you an easier way, and the way that I set up Google Analytics. Okay, so we've got the tracking ID. We need that tracking ID. And now we're going to go into our website. Now this is underneath the hood, as I like to call it, of the Startup Investment and Community Capital Expo website. And this is, if any of you have been in WordPress websites before, you'll immediately recognize this is a WordPress website because this is what it looks like. Different websites are set up differently. WordPress is the most popular website builder, so there's a good chance your website looks like this. I have set up Google Analytics in a couple of others. I recently did one in, it was either shop.com or Shopify. I think it was Shopify, and they actually had a really easy way to set it up also. But let me show you how to do it inside WordPress. We're going to go to plugins. On the left column there, it says plugins. Plugins are little pieces of software that help you do things inside your website. They help with design. They add functionality to your website, which is what we're going to do here. So we're going to click on that, and it's going to take us to this list of plugins. Now, this website already has the plugin I'm going to kind of point you to, called GA Google Analytics. This is a free plugin, don't got to pay anything for it. It's very easy to use, and it seems to be pretty much bulletproof. If you're doing this for your first time, this one will work great for you. If you don't have that plugin already installed in your website, then you just go up to the top of that page and you click on Add New. When you do that, then you're going to type in Google Analytics into the little search bar that it'll give you. And there's the plugin, Google Analytics, GA Google Analytics plugin. And this one says active in the upper right-hand corner. If Google Analytics were not already installed in this site, it would, like the other plugins there, it would say install now. You'd click on that, it installs itself. It's amazingly simple to do. Once it's installed, you go to settings, you click on settings. That brings you to this page. You click on plug-in settings, and it brings you here, and you're going to put your Google Analytics tracking ID into that box. I just cut and paste. The Google Analytics is in there, and you are almost ready to go. Got to go down to the bottom of this page. You might want to click on disable tracking of admin level users. That way Google, if you're an admin for your website, when you go to your website, Google will ignore you and not treat you like all other users. Then you click on Save Changes. Et voila! You have Google Analytics installed on your site. Wait a few days, then go back to your Google Analytics account, and you'll see the data starting to show up in there. And that's our tour of Google Analytics for tonight. But a few things I want to say at the end. Something important to understand, Google Analytics only tracks data going forward. That is, if you don't have Google Analytics installed on your site and there are people visiting your site, you will not ever know it. Because when you do install Google Analytics, it will start measuring visitors at that point. It doesn't go back and pick up the data that wasn't collected. So start now. Google Analytics takes some practice and study. Google wants you to understand Google Analytics, so they have set up this Google Analytics Academy. It's a series of well-designed short modules. I highly recommend them. They will teach you Google Analytics. And there's a basics course, there's an advanced course, and then there's a power users course, and you can go on forever and get your PhD in Google Analytics if you want. You don't need to, but that's highly recommended for learning Google Analytics. There are other tools related to Google Analytics that are very useful that down the road are worth getting to know. One of those is Google Search Console, and that will help you with making your site more searchable. There's Google PageSpeed Insights. One of the key attributes of a website in terms of whether Google likes your website. And if Google doesn't like your website, it isn't going to show it to people when they're searching. So you want Google to like your website. Google likes fast websites. If you think about that for a moment, why does Google like fast websites? Well, what they'll tell you is that it's better for the user experience. The faster your site loads, the more your users appreciate it. That's very true. That is absolutely true. That's 100% true. The other side of this is Google spends an enormous amount of resources crawling your website, crawling all of our websites. They're continuously going out there and they literally think of it as they're taking photos of everybody's websites and they're storing them into searchable databases. So they want those websites to load very, very fast because it speeds up their work. So Google has page speed insights to help you make your site faster. Then there's Google Ads. Even if you're not using Google Ads, you probably want to set up Google Ad Manager because it enables some other functionality inside of Google Analytics, which is a little beyond this talk, but just know that that's there. And finally, Facebook Pixel, which is the Facebook equivalent of the Google Analytics tracking code, except that Facebook doesn't make it as easy as Google Analytics. But if you're using Facebook, you should get Facebook Pixel set up and working for your sites. And that does bring me to the end of the tour. I thank you for your patience. Please, if you have questions, you're welcome to call them out. I'm going to go out of screen share for a moment so I can actually see y'all. Are there any questions you have? As I said, either put them in chat or, oh, and Helena Ronas put in, she said the marketing analytics tool is at allfactors.com. And then is that the website for your company, Helena? She left. Oh, she
Oh, no, I'm here. I'm here. I wrote yes.
Oh, excellent. Okay, I see. You answered in chat. I didn't notice that. Excellent. Thanks. Sorry. Anything else?
Sorry, I'm not sure.
Alexis Alexis just chimed in.
Brad, a quick question to the last point. The Facebook pixels, does it also track the ads from the Instagram or the boosts of the Instagram posts, or just the Facebook? Do you know?
Kennedy, do you know the answer to that? I believe the answer is yes, but I'm just wondering if Kennedy.
Yeah, one thing, yes, after all.
What was the question?
The Facebook pixels, does it track, actually I should start my question was if it tracks also the posts, boosts and the ads from the Instagram or just Facebook?
Yeah, I think it tracks all of the ads. I think you have to go into Pixel and make sure that your account is set up to the right Facebook business profile that you want to use.
Okay, but Facebook
At your Instagram account, LinkedIn, and there, but they're both, of course, Instagram and Facebook are the same company.
Yeah, they have to be linked
together.
And that tracks the boost, the ads that we create, or also?
It tracks various events that happen on your Facebook page. So it gives you some similar insights, but the biggest thing here is it helps to link Facebook to your Google, to your website in terms of understanding what the kind of traffic back and forth is on that. There is, by the way, there's one other tool, and I meant to have it in here, but I didn't put it in here. But it's a really important tool, and I'm going to put it in chat. It's called URL Builder. It's very easy to use. I'm going to go back into share screen for just a second because I really did intend to say a little bit about URL Builder because I consider it so important to what we do. So I'm just going to do a Google search for URL Builder, and Google's going to campaign URL tracking, easy to use affiliate platform. I don't want to go there. That's an ad. I want to go down here to campaign URL Builder, Google Analytics demos and tools. And I'm going to click on that. And that brings me to this page where they have what they call campaign URL Builder. So if I put in my website.
Could you share your screen with us, Brad?
I'm sorry.
Could you share your screen with us?
Oh, I thought I was. I'm sorry. I thought I was. Thank you for mentioning that I wasn't. I missed clicking a button. Is it working now?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I did a simple Google search for URL Builder and got the link to here. And this is the URL Builder. You put in your website URL. So if I'm going to do something for 21cm.global, which is our website, and the campaign source. So this is, I'm going to be doing a newsletter. So I'm going to call this a newsletter, and the medium, in this case, that's going to be a newsletter also. I'm just going to use the same thing. And the campaign, so this is our July 20 newsletter that we're sending out. And I'm going to ignore the campaign term and campaign content, but note that down here at the bottom, it has created this crazy looking URL. What I want to do is when I send out my newsletter, somewhere in the newsletter, there's going to be a button saying, visit us at our website. And in that button, I'm going to use this URL as the link to my website. And then when somebody clicks on that newsletter link and goes to my website, Google Analytics is going to pick it up and say, oh, that person came from here, and it'll show up in my Google Analytics so I can see how many people got to my website from that specific link in my newsletter. And that's why I wanted to demonstrate this. This is such an important tool to use. It should be a standard. If you send out a newsletter, don't just link your website in there. Use this URL builder so that you know exactly where your traffic is coming from. And you can just click copy URL here, and that copied it. And you can also convert it to short link. Yes.
Quick question. Where do you exactly insert this URL? You insert what in your newsletter, like in a text? Or?
Yeah. So if suppose in the text I'm talking about something and I say find out more at our website. And the way I would normally do that is I would turn the at our website, or maybe the whole phrase, find out more at our website. I'd turn that whole thing into a link.
Got it.
Clickable link. And this is what I would use to put in that link. That will take them to our website. It doesn't take them to a weird place. It takes them right to our website. But Google Analytics sees that URL and says, oh, this came from that newsletter. It's not quite that simple, but close to it. So
yeah,
yeah, got it?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is, if
so
you're—
find out more is part of this address as well, this URL, sorry. Which part is the name that is the extension? Which part of that URL is the extension?
Okay, let me I'll demonstrate this in this way. So I copied that. Now there's a simple way to do this. So suppose I'm going to create a new Google Doc, okay, and I'm going to type in here, find out more at our website. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight that, And I'm going to go here and click on insert link. And I'm going to paste that URL that I just built in URL Builder. Click
Got it.
apply. And now, if I click on that, you can see it has that fairly bizarre, but that will help me track that. I'll know when that shows up in the source report in my Google Analytics, I'll know exactly where that person came from. So this helps you know. You should do this with your social media. Anytime you've got a link in your social media, don't just put your website link in there. Put a special link that's for that post, so then you know that post got you X amount of traffic.
Mm-hmm.
So
Thank you.
this has become a standard part of our practice in creating links from any kind of outreach that we do. Cool.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Other questions? Great. Well, I thank everybody for joining us. Let me go back for just a second to my slide deck. I think I'm still sharing my stuff. So what else? Topics for the, so this is important. So this is an audience participation portion of this, which is, I'm going to ask everybody to please put one or more topic into chat that you would like to see us cover in these meetups. We're always trying to find out, what does our audience want to hear about? We know what we want to talk about and dig into. And I love doing these presentations because it makes me dig into things a little bit more deeply and learn some things that I missed along the way. But I would love it if you would put into chat. Let's see what's showing up here. We've got, yes, can you create multiple Google Analytic accounts under one Gmail account? Yes, you can. Remember early on in the presentation, I showed you in my account, I've got like, I don't know, there are at least 8 different website properties in there. There are 8 different accounts inside that single Google Analytics account. By the way, you can also, in your Google Analytics account, you can allow other people to see the data from your website, right? So if you've got somebody managing your website, or if there are multiple of you that need to see the Google Analytics data, you can do that really easily inside that account. What else we got here? Is Google able to crawl into other websites and track if it's incognito mode private browsing? Now, okay, so there's a distinction there between a website and a browser. So Google crawls websites and it collects data from your browser, especially if you're in a Chrome browser, which many of us use. I'm a very heavy user of Chrome browsers. But you can go incognito in your browser, put it in incognito mode, in which case Google can't track what you're doing in your browser. But remember, your browser is different than a website. A website's a different thing out there. And whatever mode you have your browser in doesn't affect that website. Now, it's possible, if people, now I'm understanding what this question is actually asking. If people are going to your website and they're using the private mode in their browser, then does Google know they've been on your website? No. It does mess up your statistics if a lot of people are using private browsing or incognito mode. So encourage your friends all to use regular mode. And we got suggestions. SEO traffic basics. SEO is absolutely on our list. Where can you get the recording? We will post this recording on our website. And let's see, is Anjika still there? Yeah, Anjika, could you cut and paste the link to our meetup page into the the chat
Yeah.
so people can get to it. Google ads and Facebook ads, absolutely, that's great. Organic traffic in all possible ways. And MailChimp and how it can help visibility off your website. So integrating MailChimp and the website, that's a great topic. Those are great. That will keep us busy for a while. I love those topics, and we will definitely work on those. In the meantime, any way that we can be helpful, we're here to help. Let's see, I think we've got, there's contact, there's my email address, Kennedy's and Anjika. Anjika does our web and graphic design, Kennedy, social media and video. And I don't do anything useful. I just sort of direct the whole thing and do stuff like branding and etc. So feel free to reach out to us. We'd be happy to help. And
Thank you, Brad. This was great.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks
you.
so
Thanks,
much.
everybody.
Cool. Hope to see you back next month, and we'll let you know what topic we pick for next month because we haven't picked it yet.
Brad, do you have a minute right after everyone signs off?
Absolutely, we can just stay on.
Bye.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye all. Have a great night, great weekend. Be safe.
Thank you.
Wear your masks.
For sure.
Thanks, Jenny. Appreciate it. Looking forward to our digital marketing seminar in the fall. Getting that rolling again. So we've got Saul on here and Jenny on here. Kennedy's just hanging out, which is fine. Looks like Anjika left. So
Brad, do you need anything from me?
I don't think so. I've got this. I'm going to stop the recording. So
All right.
I will let you know when